Hey guys, Sat Nam. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so excited to share with you today probably the most important part of our mindful morning model, our movement and meditation. So the set that I'm going to take you through right now is actually a really great warm-up. So you can actually do this one before any of the other sets that we may have or before just going into your meditation. It's a really nice full body warm-up that's only going to take you a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get started by tuning in. So we'll start to sit up nice and tall, start to rub the hands together, stimulating all the thousands of nerve endings in the fingertips and through the palms. And then bringing the hands together into a prayer position so the thumb tips come into the sternum. Roll the shoulders up and back. The chest lifts just slightly and the chin tucks back. We'll inhale deep to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deep. And exhale. Satnam. So we're going to go through a few little warm-up exercises. We're going to go through about a minute apiece. If any of these feel particularly great to you, you can always spend a little bit of extra time here. So the first one, we'll just start to connect a little bit of movement with our breath. So with a deep inhale, we'll lift the chin all the way up, keeping the spine nice and straight. And then exhale, bring the chin to the chest. Just moving at your own pace. Exhale back down to center, sit up nice and tall. And then with your next inhale, we'll take the left ear to the left shoulder and start to circle around behind, just rolling the head. Same thing here, as slowly as it feels comfortable, not forcing anything, but just letting the head get really heavy, like you have a 30-pound bowling ball circling around. Next inhale, we'll come back to center, sit up nice and tall, reset. And then exhale, our right ear to the right shoulder, circle the other way. Inhale back to center to reset. The next one, we'll take the hands to the shoulders. So the thumb tips will come to the back, the fingertips to the front. We'll just do some shoulder twists. So inhale to the left, exhale to the right, and then just continue at your own pace, letting the breath get really, really heavy here. Keeping the spine nice and tall as we start to warm up. Maybe building a little bit of momentum, stretching further each side. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, relax. And then we'll take the rotation down to the hips for a Sufi Grind. So for this one, we'll bring the hands to the knees and then start to press our chest forward as we come to the front, and then cave it back as we come around the back. Deep, deep circles, breathing deep here. You can use your hands for a little bit of leverage so you can get a really deep stretch and let your pelvis and hips really rock around with you. Really get a full length stretch of the spine. Inhale, stretch up nice and tall. And then exhale, go the opposite way. So pressing the chest forward and then letting it cave back. Inhale back up through center, sit up tall. Exhale, relax. So for the next one, we'll kick the legs out straight in front of us for a light nerve stretch. So there's a few variations that you can try here. You can either take the legs out straight in front of you, or you can take the legs into a deep V. The deep V you can do alternating sides, so you would inhale to the center, exhale left, inhale center, exhale right. But for today, we're gonna actually just go with the legs straight. So do whichever you feel. The legs into a V will give you a little bit deeper stretch into the inner thigh. So with the legs coming out straight, we're gonna inhale to sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, we're gonna grab onto either the big toes, the ankles, the shins, behind the knees, even whatever you can grab. And then we'll exhale our chest lower towards the thighs. And this movement doesn't have to be really big to be really powerful. So just honor where you are, and you'll probably be able to go a little bit deeper with each exhale. So again, just grabbing on wherever you can, keeping the spine as straight as possible. So not leading with the head or the neck, but just leading with the chest. Inhale up, exhale down. You can use the hands for a little bit of leverage here, so deepening your stretch, helping you to pull down a little bit further each time. Inhale deep, stretch up. Exhale, deepest stretch down. Pressing all the air out. And then inhale to relax. We shake the legs out. And then we'll spin the legs around to come sitting on the heels and the knees. So for this next one, I always like to put my cushion kind of right on top of my feet or in between the heels to give me a little bit more support. So if your knees or your hips don't really love this position, that may help. And then we're gonna just sit up nice and tall, bring the arms up straight overhead, interlace the fingertips with the pointer fingers up for a little Sawt Kriya. So for this one, we're gonna work with the mantra Sawt Nam. And basically whenever you say Sawt, you're gonna pull the navel in really, really tight. Everything goes up the spine. And then on the Nam, you release the navel. So it looks a little bit like this all together. Sawt Nam, Sawt Nam, Sawt Nam, Sawt Nam. So that's really all there is to it. You can close your eyes and focus and just try to pull the navel really, really hard with each Sawt. Sawt Nam, 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 Sawt Nam. This one we're gonna go for 3 minutes if you can. Sawt Nam, 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 Sawt Nam. 30 more seconds. Sawt Nam, 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 Sawt, na. Sawt, na. Sawt, na. Sawt, na. Sawt, na. Sawt, na. Deep inhale. Stretch everything up tall. Squeeze the navel, squeeze the root lock like you have to go to the bathroom so bad. Sip in a little more air. Stretch and squeeze. Exhale. Release the arms. Good job. Now from here we're going to go into a camel pose. There's a few different variations of this one as well. So basically we're just going to pop up onto the knees and reach back for the heels. Now this one can feel really intense, so if that's not where you're at today, then definitely make good use of your cushion and you can give yourself a little prop. But if you can go all the way back, we're just going to take a few deep breaths. So catching the hands onto the heels, pressing the hips forward, and then lifting the chin. Just as much as it's comfortable. Breathing deep here. Slowly starting to press your way back up, and then coming back to a child's pose for a counter stretch. Now for the next one, we'll come onto our hands and knees for a little cat-cow. So squaring off here, you want the wrists to be right underneath the shoulders and the knees to be right underneath the hips. You want to press down through the fingertips so that you don't dig into the wrist too much. And basically once you get nice and settled, we'll inhale to drop the belly and lift the chin. And then exhale to reverse it. So pulling the navel to the spine, the chin tucking into the chest, and the hips tucked under. Pressing down hard through the hands. And then inhale, reverse. Exhale, pressing up. So then just continue at your own pace, inhaling to lift the chin, drop the belly, exhaling to round everything, press down through the hands. Just continue at your own pace, but let the breath go really heavy with you here. That'll help you to determine how fast you want to go. Some days it might feel really good to go super slow and juicy here. Other days it might feel really great to release a lot of tension and build some momentum. But just trust your body and see what you want to do today. inhale deep, stretch up. Stretch, stretch, stretch deep. And then exhale. Navel to the spine, tuck the chin all the way under, press all the air out. And then inhale, rock back over the feet. Take a child's pose, let the forehead come to the mat. Just finding a couple deep breaths here. Okay, for the next one, we'll do some frog poses. So we're gonna start from a squatting position. The toes are apart and the heels are together, so they're gonna make into like a little V shape. Just step them a little bit closer together. So you do want the heels to touch and the toes can be apart into a little V shape. And so for this one, we'll keep the fingertips perched on the ground for balance. We wanna keep our face pointing forward so that we're not gonna get too terribly dizzy. And then we'll just inhale the hips up, straighten the legs. Exhale, come back down. Just like that. So you can go at your own pace here. We're gonna work up to doing 56, but definitely feel free to cut that in half if that feels more comfortable for today. Let's go ahead and get started. Good work. Now you can inhale, stretch the legs. You step the feet apart and just take a little forward fold here if that feels good. And then we'll slowly roll up, making our way back to a comfortable seat. So for the last part of this set, we're gonna do a little ego eradicator. So we'll come back to our easy pose, just sit up nice and tall. And then we'll lift the arms to about 60 degrees. Tuck the fingertips into the pads, almost like you're gonna make a fist, but the thumbs stick out. So it looks a little like this. So you're stretching all the way up through the arms, through the thumb tips, but roll the shoulders back into the sockets. And then from here, with a nice tall spine, chin tucked in just slightly, we'll go into a breath of fire. So that's the even inhale and exhale through the nose. And we're gonna go for 3 minutes here. Don't focus too much on pumping the navel, it'll work itself out. less than a minute to go here. Keep going, just press through. If you start to feel uncomfortable, deepen the breath. That'll help you get through this last little minute. Now inhale deep, stretch the spine up straight, stretch the arms up overhead, bring the thumb tips to touch, fingertips out straight, stretch everything up, sip in a little more air. Squeeze the navel in, squeeze the root log, everything up the spine, holding the breath, squeezing tight, tight, tight. Exhale, sweep the arms down. Good work. You can let the breath relax. You can either leave the fingertips on the ground or bring them back into the lap. Just take a few deep breaths here. You can stay as long as you'd like, just feeling the energy that you just created, everything that you just shifted. Enjoy it. Take your time here, or feel free to go ahead and go into your next set or meditation.